This is Matthew Cratter from Trade University, and today's video is called Sell Your Bitcoin, Elon. It has been a bad weekend for Elon Musk. He's really succeeded in making himself look like a complete fool. And the only thing I think we've really learned has been that we now know that Elon Musk is definitely not Satoshi Nakamoto. So what's been happening? We had Musk come out over the last week and say, I think that Bitcoin is really bad for the environment, even though I just bought a lot of it in my publicly traded company. And now I'm going to virtue signal about its high energy usage and not sell any. So this is a very confused individual. The big tweet that really set off the sell orders yesterday was when Crypto Whale, who has been accused by a lot of people online of being an actual scammer who has taken people's money. Presumably he asked you to send him your Bitcoin. He reported that Bitcoiners are going to slap themselves next quarter when they find out that Tesla dumped the rest of their Bitcoin holdings. With the amount of hate Elon Musk is getting, I wouldn't blame him. Elon Musk tweeted back, "Indeed," which suggested to people that Tesla was about to sell its Bitcoin or had already exited its Bitcoin. Now, this is a bizarre tweet for many reasons, especially Mr. Whale, Crypto Whale's tweet here, because presumably this is an investment asset and there are various pros and cons, etc. But it'd be most high net worth investors and billionaires don't make investment decisions based on the amount of hate they're getting from Bitcoin maximalists, for example. Then, of course, Musk was probably thinking of what the SEC was going to say on Monday, so he came out a few minutes later and clarified that Tesla has not sold any Bitcoin. Musk is like many other smart people who encounter Bitcoin, and presumably he's known about it for a while, but he's never really studied it. He enters Bitcoin when the price is going up, getting very excited about the number go up technology. And then a few months later, I'm here to fix Bitcoin. We've seen this happen a lot, and Bitcoin has a way of humbling even very smart people. I should start by saying that I still respect Musk and think he's incredibly brilliant. He's pushing humanity towards an interplanetary future. That being said, I'm not going to be buying any Tesla cars anytime soon, and I will not be using Starlink anytime soon. I think the embarrassing thing for Musk is that he has not done basic research on Bitcoin protocol and how the Bitcoin miners work, the difference between Bitcoin full nodes and Bitcoin miners. If you've been watching this channel, you know all about this. And I'm very embarrassed for Musk to see this all out in the public. This is one problem with being very rich and famous, that when you're on the Bitcoin learning curve, unfortunately, you're doing it out in public. I had a lot of similar critiques and misunderstandings, but fortunately, I didn't do it out in the open like Musk is doing. And I think it's really hurt his brand. It certainly angered a lot of Bitcoiners. It's angered me. What he's done has been completely unnecessary. And he seems to be completely unaware of the history of Bitcoin, the various debates that have gone on in the community, which I find very surprising given his tech roots and the sort of things that he follows. He has single-handedly resuscitated Bitcoin Energy FUD, which we've been talking about for over a year on this channel, Bitcoin Centralization FUD, Bitcoin Scalability FUD. We've talked about the 2017 block size wars. And these are very obvious things to people who have put in the work. If you haven't spent 100 hours or more, as Michael Saylor would say, studying Bitcoin, you probably shouldn't be on Twitter telling everyone how to fix it. Now, for those of you who need to catch up on these various FUDs, they're too big to repeat in this single video. So I'm going to link to 3 videos. Who actually controls Bitcoin, miners, corporations, whales. Turns out it's the full nodes that do it. Spoiler alert. Watch this video if you want to know about that. If you're worried about Bitcoin is bad for the environment, I'll link to this one. And is Bitcoin too slow, or the block size is too small? Is it just old tech? Is it going to be displaced by some new fancy, shiny new coin? Watch this video. Now, the really pathetic thing about Musk over the weekend is that when Bitcoin Twitter started mocking him for his clear lack of knowledge about very basic Bitcoin facts, he falls back on expertise and credentials. And this is something he's railed against, obviously, but when he's in a tight spot, he falls back in on it. saying, hey, cryptocurrency experts, ever heard of PayPal? It's possible maybe that I know more than you realize about how money works. Of course, PayPal is a highly centralized service, and PayPal failed to become the new world currency as its original founders like Peter Thiel wanted it to become. And so even in this pleading to his expertise and credentials, he makes himself look like a fool, because Bitcoin is not another PayPal. It's a settlement layer more than even being a transaction layer. Adam Back had a great tweet here pointing out that Musk was fired for a number of reasons, but one of the big ones was that he wanted to build PayPal. So basically, Musk was running X.com. He founded it, merged with PayPal, and then you had these dueling power figures, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. Musk wanted to go build the system, build PayPal on top of Microsoft software. Peter Thiel, Max Levchin wanted to build it on Linux, and as a result, they were actually able to oust Musk, and he was fired before PayPal went public, before it was bought by eBay. So here's a guy who's pushing for centralization, ended up getting fired over it, and now he's trying to take credit for PayPal. Most of what happened with PayPal really happened, the real growth happened after he left. And Adam Back comments, not sure if you know, but Elon got into a security robustness rift at PayPal, and pointing out that apparently SpaceX and Tesla run on Linux now. So he has at least moved to the decentralized side of things over time. Great tweet from Preston Pish pointing out what I mentioned before, that Musk, when he cites the Chinese outages and the drop in the hash rate, shows that he doesn't understand the difference between Bitcoin miners and full nodes, which is a bit embarrassing. If you don't know that difference, it's quite forgivable. Obviously, you just got to do your research. Here's a great video that I made about how to understand the difference between the miners and the nodes. And then I'll link to a tweet storm by Documenting Bitcoin, talking about the full nodes and how they validate and enforce the consensus rules. So follow this if you are worried that Bitcoin is not decentralized. I love VJ's tweet here that offending 100 million owners of the world's next reserve currency doesn't seem like a good strategy for selling cars. And I think Musk has definitely damaged his brand over the weekend. Meanwhile, Bitcoin keeps chugging along. We're still in this sideways range that we've been talking about for, call it 3 months. We're trading between 44,000 and 64,000 right now at the bottom of the range. And sentiment has turned so bearish. I was buying over the weekend. I think this is a fantastic entry point, anywhere here in 40, 43, 44, 45, $46,000. It's not investment advice. You got to do your own research. Otherwise, you'll end up sounding like Elon Musk and possibly panicking when you hear rumors that Musk doesn't like Bitcoin anymore. But nothing has really changed here. We're still in this very wide sideways trading range, which we can see here. And it's combined now with just, I would say, the worst, the most fear and loathing of this bull cycle. So I think we've got a technical dip here, and we have very bearish sentiment, which makes it an even better entry point. In the past, we have had obviously some very deep drawdowns in Bitcoin. During the bear markets, you get these 80, 90% drawdowns. In bull markets, even in 2021, we've had a 35% drawdown. That's what we're currently doing. We had a 31% drawdown in early January. And these are very typical of what happens during bull market runs. Even a very strong bull market run like this, and like in 2016 and 2017, where we had really comparable pullbacks, and yet Bitcoin kept going. So I don't think this has destroyed the bull run. Bitcoin is inevitable, as Musk put into that blockchain, that block. In retrospect, it was inevitable. Bitcoin is inevitable. It doesn't need Elon Musk. I would encourage Elon Musk. I mean, I wish he would just sell all this Bitcoin, because it's become a huge distraction, and he's added nothing to the space except resuscitating a bunch of dumb arguments that he should know better than to do. Elon Musk needs Bitcoin more than Bitcoin needs Elon Musk. But unfortunately, it looks like he's been humiliated in public now, threatening to sell his Bitcoin and turn it into Doge. If he wants to do that, I think he should do that. Certainly, Bitcoin doesn't need him. And I think he was a little surprised to see everyone telling him to just dump his Bitcoin. I think he was expecting people to say, "Oh, Elon, please don't leave." But that's not how Bitcoin works. Bitcoin is an extremely strong network and an extremely strong protocol, and it doesn't need billionaires, especially billionaires who haven't done their research. Meanwhile, Welly Woo has a great tweet here showing NVT price, which I believe is a proprietary indicator that he comes up with, but it basically shows where Bitcoin price is supported by long-term investors using on-chain volume. We just recently dipped below this blue line, which is the NVT model price. This is something that happens very, very rarely in bull markets. It did happen in 2017 right here, and it has proven in the past to be a fantastic point of entry, fantastic buying point. Dilution Proof on Twitter also has some great charts here that I'll link to. During this dip, long-term hodlers held on. It was really the short-term holders that were shaking out of their positions, as we can see by declining average coin dormancy. Some of the short-term holders capitulated during this dip, sold at losses, obviously. Meanwhile, long-term holders continued to stack sats and increase their positions, as did Bitcoin miners. So all the on-chain fundamentals look good. We're still in this price trading range. I own Bitcoin for the long term. It could go down to 10,000, I wouldn't sell. It could go down to $1, I wouldn't sell. If it goes up to $1 million, I still won't sell. I might borrow against it. So I'm really in this for the long term. You don't get 200% a year returns without high volatility. And if you're going to be in Bitcoin for the long term, you need to really understand it. And so when someone famous and rich says really silly things about Bitcoin, you can sleep well at night and you won't even have to give it a thought because you understand for yourself how Bitcoin works. I'm going to be traveling again tomorrow. Won't be able to do a video tomorrow on Tuesday. I should be able to do a video on Wednesday if the Airbnb has a strong enough internet connection. It looks a little bit sketchy, so we'll see. If I disappear off YouTube for a couple days here, don't think it's because I'm scared and panicking about Bitcoin. Just on the road here in some fairly remote places, and so the internet connection may be a bit spotty, but it looks like I will almost certainly be able to make a video on Wednesday if the connection is as strong as I think it is. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.